So it's time to remind you once again of why we go to Conservative Home every so often and why we look at Conservative Home, why we cover stuff for Conservative Home, because we've got a lot of new subscribers recently. Pardon me. So I think it's best telling you why. So one big reason is, first and foremost, is that Conservative Home reaches out and does a lot of outreach to the actual Conservative Party and its membership base. And you would see things written in Conservative Home that you never see anywhere else in things like the Tory Graph, the Daily Mail, etc. In fact, in many places, it's sort of the dumping ground. But because they do so much outreach, they do polls. What do you think of so-and-so? What do you think of this? And you get to build, and you get to see a very interesting picture of what the Conservative Party at that moment in time really thinks. You do not see this type of polling done anywhere else for any other political party. But this polling that gets done has predicted time and time again not only favorability of leaders. Conservative Home was predicting that Boris Johnson was in a lot of trouble even before his troubles really started to kick in. We've seen it predict who is going to be future leaders. Back in the day, I was saying, look, guys, Liz Truss is insanely popular on these polls, and it is basically predicting she will win against Rishi Sunak. And a lot of people said, "Oh, you're mad. They would never elect Liz Truss, right?" And yet it's so easy to sit here and look back and think, why on earth would they elect Liz Truss? But that is because that they have this outreach into this. And it was, again, from these polls, I was telling you who was going to win the next leadership race. And that was ultimately Kemi Badenoch. I had been saying it for months that if she gets to the final two, it's hers to win. In fact, the entire competition was hers to win pretty much at that point. So it is, once again, time to look at the shadow cabinet league tables because, once again, these polls predict and show what the Conservative Party faithful, the membership, really think of who their leader is, what's going on in the party, and potentially how much trouble there might be ahead this year for Kemi Badenoch. Because already she's gone from, shall we say, being top of the table to, well, you'll see where she is in a moment. But bear in mind, this is the exact same thing that happened to Boris Johnson. It was showing that there was trouble ahead, that, his popularity was, peaking off a bit. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, this table and the stuff that they do with these polls has predicted there's going to be some very, very choppy waters ahead for Kemi Badenoch. So before we do get into this, please do remember to click on the like, the share button, and of course, down below, there's the Patreon page, there's the Buy Me Coffee link where you can well buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there's the Pony Club down below as well. So let's crack on then into this league table. And I think the title says it all, and even the picture. Surprisingly, as you can see here, Mel Stride. So, survey. Badenoch now falls into 7th place in our Conservative league table. And lo and behold, Mel Stride somehow leading in the polls. You may remember when we were covering what turned out to be a very, very boring Tory leadership contest. And I've said many times, I apologize for that. I was really hoping it would be a lot more exciting, but who knows? Maybe next time. Look, Mel Stride was like the comedy candidate. He was the literally who. And I thought he was going to be the first one to drop out. But no, of course, it ended up being Priti Patel. But however, he went next. So here you have a guy who came second to last in the Conservative leadership contest, and he is now dominating this Conservative leadership contest. He got 57.9% of the votes. 57. Normally, that is what Kemi Badenoch would be getting. In fact, she'd probably getting a lot more. You'd probably see her really in like the high 60s, 70s, maybe even the 80s. So the fact that she is not there shows that the membership is now regretting their choice. However, not all the membership are still regretting their choice because, as we'll see in a moment, she's not, well, fallen off the cliff edge yet. Yet. But the fact that she's taken a serious plummet is not too surprising. And of course, the second one really shouldn't surprise you. It's Robert Jenrick. Robert Jenrick coming in at 51%. Robert Jenrick, we've been saying for a while, on maneuvers. On maneuvers is Robert Jenrick. He is out there. He is looking to be the one, the figure that replaces Kemi Badenoch. But bear in mind, both these people, both Kemi and Jenrick, are from the right wing of the party. Like, if somehow, bear in mind, let's say the reverse had happened, that Jenrick had won and Badenoch had lost, Jenrick would be in the exact same position. Exact same position. Maybe he might have announced policy maybe a bit earlier. Maybe we might have seen some policy. There's been these rumors running around behind the back doors that Jenrick has been going around saying what the Conservative Party policy should, or should we say, would have been had he have won. And this is apparently what is winning him a lot of support, that he's already, as they've said, on maneuvers within the party, trying to sort of increase his position on this. So, in third, we've got Chris Phillip, then Laura Trott, Andrew Griffith, Claire Cluthino, and then Kemi Badenoch. Kemi Badenoch at 32%. 32%. That's not good. That is very, very, very not good if you are Kemi Badenoch. That's not good at all, because you have taken a significant tumble where you would be at the top, as we said, in the high, like, 60s, 70s, maybe even 80%. So you didn't do it. And it's also worth pointing out, at the end of the year, Conservative Home did a big who's the MP of the year? Which Tory MP is MP of the year? She was pipped to the post by none other than Robert Jenrick. Now, it was close, but this goes to show you that the race that had happened, if maybe things had been different in the media, or maybe they'd been allowed to, rip each other to shreds, that they hadn't agreed to this very boring ceasefire, which made the contest so boring to watch and spectate. Again, I apologize for that, because I hyped it up a lot, that it was going to be an absolute bloodbath. And trust me, I think that is still very much the case, that the next contest is going to be an absolute bloodbath. But yeah, if it does show you, if maybe that had been allowed, Kemi Badenoch probably wouldn't have won. It might have been Robert Jenrick, or maybe it would have become a very, very close race. But yeah, trouble ahead. Trouble absolutely ahead. If you are sinking in the polls, your competitor is second, while the guy who was considered the comedy candidate of that election is now at the top, bear in mind. In fact, I think they say why he's at the top. Where is he on this? I think it goes into scene. Here we are. Yeah. So this is because the Shadow Chancellor has now emerged as something now as a sleeper hit amongst the Tory grassroots, aided by no doubt by the ample opportunities that Rachel Reeves is now creating to attack the government on its economic record. Meanwhile, have you seen Mel Stride on TV? No. Mel Stride has been going again behind the scenes, really trying to sort of attack, you know, to his Tory faithful, because I think if we do get another leadership contest, Mel Stride's going to go in for it again, and he's not going to win. Like, he is not going to win. Mel Stride cannot win in the current Tory party, like, at all. He might be the top for now, but I guarantee you it'll be Robert Jenrick. Next time they do this, Robert Jenrick will be at the top. So, and will Kemi Badenoch either fall or maybe rise in the ranks? If she rises, maybe she staves off a lot more trouble. But I tell you, May is going to be a big test because, oh boy, as I've said before, there's no party like a Tory party panic party. So, let me know what you think down below. Do you think Kemi is doomed? Do you think she will last the year? What are your predictions for the May elections? I think the Tories are going to absolutely lose catastrophically. I think the biggest winners, as I've said many times before, are going to be the Lib Dems in this upcoming local leadership contest, all the local elections coming up in May, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be all to play for. But I think the Tories are going to be the biggest losers and the Lib Dems are going to be the biggest winners. Meanwhile, of course, maybe Reform will pick up a couple of seats. But bear in mind, I think their popularity is being massively overblown when you look at their actual election record. Since the general election, there have been about over 180 different by-elections. They've only won 7. Oh, my God, but Reform are really popular, doing really well in the polls. Well, it's not translating that into elections, is it? So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.